Hi folks, welcome to build and review. This one's for the Lego Land Rover, the classic Defender 90. That's the icon set number 10317. As you can see, it's building up on screen at the moment. Just got some images of it being built. I'll let that run and I'll do the review at the end. So that's it all together, as you can see on screen. That's it also with the options, which I'll look through in a minute as well. It has also a tool case and all that. It also had other options. For example, it could have a roof rack on it, the bull bar, which I've also put on, side steps on it as well. I didn't put the roof rack on because I actually prefer the cleaner look of it. I know obviously that it's quite handy having the utensils and obviously the parts, the spares that were with it, or not spares as such, but the tools that were with it, sorry, the toolbox, etc. It's handy having a space for them, obviously, and the roof rack would be the place to do it, but I felt the roof rack was very heavy on it. It took up a lot of the car and distracted from the actual shape of the car. So I actually preferred the cleaner look, if you like. I preferred it without the roof rack. I've left the ladder and the fire extinguisher on the back there, as you can see, but the roof rack actually took off. Just because I say it distracted from the model, in my opinion. So yeah, there's the tools that come with it. We've got a selection of hammers and pickaxes and shovels and an axe as well. They're obviously attached to the car normally. A couple of them go in the bonnet or hood if you're American, obviously. But yeah, I decided I preferred the cleaner look rather than attach them, especially when the roof rack wasn't on there. We also got this toolbox, which I think is an absolutely brilliant little box. There's a spare number plates, obviously I'll take them out of the way, but we've got two styles of number plates, obviously I chose the other style, that's the other set that came with it. But I think making this wee box, the way it opens up and everything, just like a proper toolbox, I thought it was a really cool build. Just a small build obviously, but really effective, and I really like that. And we also got obviously this jack as well, which again it's really cool. It's the way that actually works, brilliant. Obviously you can put it up and put it in place. It holds it on the stud, and when it works, it holds it on the stud there, and actually it supports quite a bit of pressure before it actually comes down. And obviously it's really easy to take it down when you want to using the handle. So I think the way it works is just really good. And we also got a couple of jerry cans for extra fuel, obviously. Again, the build for them, very simple, the parts that are used, but it's really effective the way it's come out, and it just does look like a proper jerry can. It's the use of like the little train or roller skate pieces at the top for the lid, fantastic as well. Really impressed with that. So here's the final model. As I say, it's the one I've chosen to do without the roof rack. So I'll just quickly go around the car and just have a quick look and point out any bits and pieces that come to note. Obviously the inside, I really like the inside. It's really well done. I think I said when I did the Technic version how bare it was inside, and obviously it's because it's Technic rather than obviously the Lego version of it. And the Lego version, obviously, as you can see, the inside's a lot more filled out and proper looking. Whereas the Technic one looked like it was missing bits and pieces. Obviously you could still see through the floor of the car and the inside and everything. So yeah, I'm really impressed with the way this one looks. And just take the ladder off there and let you see a bit of a cleaner look at the back. Again, really nice build. The back door and everything, I know that it doesn't look the best because of the squared roof. It's got the curve on the door, which looks really good. And realistic, but obviously there's a wee gap left, but you can't obviously do much with that, the constraints of Lego. Just put the ladder back on there, and that's the other side with the fire extinguisher off as well. Again, great levels of detail. The fuel cap, that kind of thing's really well done to get the shape and obviously the cap in there and everything. I'll put the fire extinguisher back on again as well. Obviously it's got the tow bar at the bottom. That was one part that I wasn't overly impressed with, because it is very easy to come off. I know I knocked it a couple of times while I was moving about the build, etc. I don't know if it probably would have been possible somehow to make it more secure, as in it's not just holding on by those two studs, but obviously if you had any kind of mocked up trailer to tow on it, it wouldn't take much for that to come off. And if I look in this side as well, obviously that's inside the driver's door, but the actual door itself was another of the flaws, if you like, of the build. Just because of where the steering wheel is, it actually comes into the door space a bit, so when you close it, they didn't do it too badly there, but when you close it, it doesn't close all that well. But this is the other option for the engine. I think this is the TD5 engine, which I could also build up. I built up the V8 version and installed the V8 version in the car, but also I built the TD5 engine as well. So I'll just open up the bonnet a wee bit. I'd like to see that. So again, I put this spare wheel on top of the bonnet, which is quite normal way of doing it. Obviously in the older Land Rovers, so you often saw them with them on the bonnet. As I said, I put the bull bar on as well. That really good. The fact it's got a working winch and everything, really good detail. What I did also do, I put a plate. There was a tile on, obviously, where the number plate is. So there's a 3x1 plate which I took off. Tile I took off and put a plate on, so I could stick the number plate on, because the actual model didn't have a number plate if you had the bull bar option. So that was one of the changes I did actually do. So just have a quick look around and say that was the door. That side shuts quite well, but this one, it does tend to pop open a wee bit. It's not much, to be honest, and it can sometimes be worse than that a wee bit, but it's a small thing, as I said. I'm just pointing out because obviously it's a review, but yeah, it does stick out a little bit, and even if you push it in, it tends to pop it out, but it's because the door's actually touching the wheel at a certain point, and obviously it doesn't get properly in like the passenger door side does. But as I say, it's not much. It's not something you readily notice as you're looking at the model, but it was something I noticed when I was putting it together, that the door wasn't shutting. The other thing I did, I put in a row of white tiles, obviously underneath the roof, on top of the window there, the windscreen, because obviously it was leaving a gap, and if it did go down, it was actually pushing the corner pieces. So the two corner pieces were coming up. So just putting that tiles underneath there, it stops the roof going down far enough to then pop the corner pieces off. One of the other changes I did, actually installed a bonnet holder as well. It was just using a couple of bits I hadn't used, obviously, with the roof rack and stuff. I just installed that into the underneath of the bonnet, so it does actually obviously tilt. It's on a Technic piece which spins up, and it tilts up, and on the underneath of the bonnet I'll just put a 1x1 tile onto the bits it was for the tools. I turned them round so that the studs are in the inside of the bonnet. Makes the bonnet smoother, obviously, when I'm not using the tools, but it also gave me a stud to put the 1x1 tile on, and that 1x1 tile is what the rod actually holds up the bonnet with, so that allows it to stay open if I want it to stay open. If I just flip it down, it just goes out of the way and the bonnet shuts as normal. So it's just a wee bit I mocked up just to give me something, because as I say, the bonnet doesn't stay open otherwise, so it just makes it a wee bit more realistic as well. As I said, I went for the side steps as well. I think I just finished it off really well, and they also look pretty cool. But I'll have a quick look at the function inside the car. Obviously, the car has an independent suspension all round. This is one of the points that I find is not as good. Is obviously, if you look at that, there's quite a bit of play on those wheels. I don't think it'll be passing the MOT at any point soon. I know the Technic one was a lot better with that. Obviously, being Technic, that's more what it's about. Obviously, it's more the function side. But the wheels seem very loose. Unless obviously I've missed something in the build. But if you look at this side as well, there's a lot of play from one side to the other. So like the other side, the wheel's not even moving at all. So there's a lot of play on that car, and if you try and actually run the car, they can sometimes, they'll toe in, toe out. It's not the best setup for the actual wheels on this one, but obviously you're not going to see that as a model, stationary model. But the other thing I obviously did was add lights to it, which is probably not a big surprise to you. As you can see, I've got the side lights on at the moment. There are obviously quite a few lights on the front there. The same at the back. I have got the two side lights working, the red tail lights working on the car as well, and they come on at the same time. Obviously it's a remote control set, but they come on at the same time as the front side lights, as they would on obviously on a real car. And I also, as you can see probably there, I've got some lights within the headlights as well. I know they don't look all that bright there, but they actually do light up quite well. I'll show you in a second against the poster at the back, but they do actually light up quite well for what they look like. But they obviously as a model, that's all all they need to do anyway. But they do actually work really well. And the other lights, which you can probably see there as well, as the spotlights, they're on the bull bar, and again they're lit up. I've got the the bigger LED in them, so they're brighter again, as they would be for a spotlight as well in real life. And the last ones I've put in are the indicators. So they actually work on the hazard function. They haven't got left and right, it's just hazard obviously, but both front and back, they've got the indicators working in the hazard as well, so that's them there. So I'll leave this spinning round for a wee bit. I'll let you see all the lights in motion, and I'll come back in a second. So there we have it. That's the car pretty much done. Lights on all together. So yeah, that's the end of the review. Just to sum it up, I think it's a really good build. It actually looks really nice as well. The finished article looks very much like obviously a Land Rover. Getting the angles and the shapes and everything, I think they've done a really good job. And yeah, I'll get it proudly sitting up beside the Technic new shape Defender on my shelf as well, along with a few other little ones which I've got videos coming for as well shortly. You'll be seeing this this Land Rover again shortly, but yeah, I think overall it's been a really nice build. As I say, I do prefer it without the roof rack. I think the roof rack just made it look too heavy, and also you can see the side panel bits that were for the roof rack sitting next to the car there as well. But I think it was too heavy and distracted from the actual car itself, so that's why I chose not to do it. But the actual car, the build obviously that I've chosen to do, I think it's a really good build, and I'm really happy with it. So hopefully you enjoyed the review, and hopefully you'll come back and watch some in the future again as well. Thank you for watching. Cheers.